the Supreme Court ruling in favor of gun owners in New York this morning. The opinion written by Justice Clarence Thomas siding with the Second Amendment. Now, the decision states that New York was infringing on the rights of law-abiding citizens by requiring a concealed carry license. And joining us to discuss this a bit more is former New York Congresswoman and also from the Independent Women's Forum, Nan Hayworth. Nan, good to have you with us. Thanks so much.
Okay.
All right, let's get your reaction as a former New York Congresswoman. What do you think of Clarence Thomas's opinion and the court's 6-3 ruling this morning?
It's a clear and cogently written statement, Bianca. The problem we had in the state of New York, the problem that led to the Supreme Court challenge, was that ordinary citizens were being required to show cause. They couldn't exercise their inherent Second Amendment right to carry a firearm, which, the pesky problem for the authoritarian Democrats in the state of New York is that the Second Amendment grants everyone that right. So to impose a new standard atop it that restricts the right of Americans, of citizens of New York and of California and Delaware and as we've heard, Massachusetts and Hawaii, that inherently restricts that right is wrong.
And, we're going to get into some other concealed carry laws that have passed. I do want to get your reaction to President Biden's response, which just came down a few minutes ago. One thing he says, and it's, a pretty long statement, but he says, as the late Justice Scalia recognized, the Second Amendment is not absolute. How dangerous is talk like that from the President of the United States?
Oh, Bianca, what a great question. Unfortunately, President Biden seems honestly to have no familiarity whatsoever with the Constitution. And this is endemic within his party. It is always Democrat politicians who regard the Constitution as a dusty old document that can be ignored with impunity. He has misstated the Second Amendment over and over again, not surprisingly, as he does so many other things. The Second Amendment was written by the framers in order to put American citizens on an equal power footing with their government. Really, without exceptions. We have imposed some exceptions over the centuries since the Constitution was written, including the fact that Americans, for example, cannot own nuclear weapons. But at the time the Constitution was written, American citizens could own every weapon that was also owned by the American government. That's what the Constitution says, and it says it for a reason, because Americans are independent citizens. Their inherent rights supersede those of their government.
And clearly, SCOTUS agrees with today's ruling. I want to ask you about Congress' move and Texas Senator John Cornyn facing some criticism after striking a bipartisan deal on gun control. As you know, the new bill would enhance background checks, create additional red flag laws, which may be illegal, and close the so-called boyfriend loophole. The NRA hit back, saying this proposed deal falls short at every level. Cornyn, however, seemed to brush off their comments. Let's listen to what he had to say.
We worked with the NRA to listen to their concerns, but in the end, I think they simply they have a membership and a business model that will not allow them to support any legislation. And so I understand where they're coming from, but I think most people will not allow any outside group to veto good public policy.
And what do you make of his comments there?
I'm not surprised, Bianca. Senator Cornyn is seeking to reach a compromise with the Democrats who hold majorities in both the Senate and the House at this point. So while many aspects of the new law they're proposing do make sense in focusing on school safety and on augmenting mental health supports, because those focus on both hardening the target and reaching into the criminal community, to those who seek to create death and destruction using firearms. The NRA's point is that firearms themselves are not the inherent problem here. I happen to agree with that. It is the people who wield them. And you're right, Bianca, the biggest problem is so-called red flag laws, which they present, unfortunately, a very clear opportunity for abuse by government and by other citizens where these laws exist. While we all want to prevent horrible things from happening, red flag laws, again, run into fundamental problems with our constitutional rights of due process.
Well, we love having you here as a former New York Congresswoman to get your perspective on this historic day with the SCOTUS ruling. Nan Hayworth, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Bianca. My privilege.